Naruto, God-level system author, Blue Water God. Chapter 266 Plastic Sisters. The next morning, Xiangcheng opened his eyes, turning his head to look aside, holding his arms and pouting. Xiaonan, who is like a kitten, has a satisfied smile on his face. Looking at Xiaonan, who looks like an elf in a picture, Xiangcheng stretched out his hand and stroked Xiaonan's blue and purple hair. No, I really can't do it anymore. Xiaonan, who was still sleeping, took Xiangcheng's hand away and said with a shake of his head. Xiangcheng's head was covered with black lines. He reached out and pinched Xiaonan's kind nose. Then he put on his clothes, got up and got out of bed. After washing up, Xiangcheng walked out of the door. Yo! Young Master Hyuga is out. Tsunade, who was holding a bowl of lean meat porridge in his hand, glanced at Hyuga Chen, showing an expression of watching a good show. Mikoto, Kushina and the others were equally at ease with the bowls in their hands, resting their chins with their hands, and looked at Xiangcheng with interest, as well as Sarah and Trumim. Sarah and Trumim were full of rage, staring at Xiangcheng with sharp eyes, as if they were going to eat him. Damn big villain, you know we are in your 19th space world, and you still don't bring us out. Are you afraid that we will ruin the good thing for you and Xiaonan? Did you plan ahead? Sarah and Trumim asked. That's right, this is what he negotiated with Xia and Xiaonan. You must not let him go easily. Kushina slapped the table and stood up. Kushina, who was afraid that the world would not be in chaos, kept fanning the flames. Kushina, it seems that you have a lot of energy. It looks like I will focus on taking care of you next time. Hyuga Chen looked at Kushina with a gloomy face. I won't be afraid of you, Kushina said, but his voice was very low and he had no confidence. What are you talking about? I can't hear you clearly, can you speak up? Xiangcheng leaned over to Kushina's side. I'm saying you are so handsome. Kushina changed her face instantly, hugged Xiangcheng's arm, and said with a smile, I like someone like you who tells the truth, so I will reward you. Xiangcheng smiled and kissed Kushina's lips. Kushina is not shy, she is an old husband and wife, it's just some ambiguous little actions. What's so shy? Don't change the subject. Sarah ran over, jumped on Xiangcheng, grabbed his clothes and said. Xiangcheng had a smile on his face, and he had already decided in his heart that he would beat Xia 800 times. This woman was always cheating on herself. Sarah, what do you want? Do you want me to compensate you? Xiangcheng kept approaching Sarah, and soon his lips touched. Sarah was blushing like a monkey's butt, and her body was motionless. Trumim looked at her heart, stretched out her hand to pull Sarah away, and said angrily, to actually bully Sarah, what a big bad guy. Sarah, who was pulled away, was worried about gains and losses, and she complained about Trumim in her heart. Why did she pull her away? Sarah, don't be afraid, he will never be able to bully you with me, Trumim assured Hungarian. Sarah wanted to vomit blood, which was definitely Trumim's intention. What do you want to do? Just come at me. Don't bully Sarah, Trumim said righteously, and she moved towards Xiangcheng after saying that. As your good sister, how can I let you stand in front of me, Trumim? Don't worry, I'm not afraid of him, I will fight against the evil forces to the end. Sarah pulled Trumim behind her and said with a serious expression. Tsunade and the others watched this scene excitedly, their eyes flashing with eagerness, and they wanted to intervene. Seeing their intentions, Xiangcheng immediately warned them with his eyes to let them settle down, otherwise they wouldn't turn into a mess. What are the four of you looking at? Hurry up and train for me. Xiangcheng said to the four of them. Kane Yui, who was also watching a good show. I know that bullying us. The apprentice has no human rights. Yui Hong snorted heavily, and then left with her sister. Then Xiangcheng turned his gaze to Mute, who originally stared at Mute on the ceiling, but suddenly came back to his senses, and without waiting for Xiangcheng to speak, he left the house with the piggy pig in his arms. Yes, I have comprehension. Xiangcheng glanced at Mute in admiration, this Lalai winked. Accept the punishment. Sarah suddenly jumped into Xiangcheng's arms and bit him on the neck. But Sarah didn't exert any force, and even stuck out her tongue to lick it. Xiangcheng was stunned. Is this here to give him welfare? Damn. Trumim trembled. What good sisters, they are plastic sisters, and they will shatter when touched. Get up for me. Trumim pulled Sarah hard, but Sarah hugged Xiangcheng and didn't let go, which made Trumim even more annoyed. The two women were at a stalemate like this, until Xiaonan yawned and walked out of the room. The dispute between the two women stopped temporarily, and the targets were directed against Xiaonan. What do you think I'm doing? Xiaonan said shyly. I didn't expect you to do it, Xiaonan. With my style back then, did you feel comfortable last night? Juxinai walked over and asked with her arms around Xiaonan's shoulder. Sister Juxinai, what are you talking about? Xiaonan stomped her feet, extremely shy. Did I say anything? I'm just asking if you slept well last night. It seems that Xiao Nan, your thoughts are not pure. Duke Sanai shook her head and said with a wicked smile, Xiao Nan, you are actually plotting against us. Are you still a good sister? Terumim came over in a rage. When are we good sisters? Xiao Nan said lightly. 443 Instead of following me, you might as well see your real good sister. Xiao Nan said slightly jealously. After Terumim heard this, she quickly turned her head to look at Sarah, who was lying motionless on Xiang Qingcheng, and was instantly blown up. Sarah, didn't we agree? Terumim asked. In the system space, they had negotiated and attacked Xiao Nan together. The raw rice has already been cooked, so what's the point of talking about it? Sarah said depressedly. Terumim thought about it. What Sarah said really made sense. At this time, Xiaonan, like Tsunade and the others, had completely become a woman of high Xiang Qingcheng, and it was useless for her to complain. Being one step ahead of the woman Xiaonan, I must never fall behind the woman's era. Terumim thought to herself, and at the same time she had an idea. I'm going to see Kuren Yui and the others to practice. Let's chat here. Looking at the girls who had been staring at him, Hai Xiangchen put Sarah down helplessly. After Xiangchen left, the atmosphere in the room immediately solidified. Tsunade, Mikoto, and Kushina didn't really care. Anyway, they were already ready to accept Xiaonan. Although they were a little jealous, they were still peaceful. As for Conan, Sarah and Terumim, there was some tension between them. However, Xiaonan's face was calm, and she was even a little smug in her heart. Anyway, she had come to the front, one step faster than Sarah and Terumim. Chapter 267 What do you say? In the blink of an eye, half a month has passed. During this half-month, Sarah and Terumim have been fighting. As for Xiaonan, they have no time to find Xiaonan's trouble. Hai Xiangchen was sandwiched between Sarah and Terumim. That was all. Tofu. The tofu is really delicious, and Xiangchen eats it very fragrantly. If possible, Xiangchen would like to have more tofu. However, if Hai Xiangchen dared to do that, it is estimated that Sarah and Terumim would immediately go into a frenzy, and then beat up the scum in the pot before they could finish eating the contents of Hai Xiangchen's bowl. Yahiko's head is really iron, really not afraid of death. At the beginning, Xiangchen gave them a 10-day deadline and asked them to send the money within 10 days. Now it has been half a month, and they haven't sent the money, so they clearly don't take him seriously. Beige, come out for me, Xiangchen said lightly. Lord Chen, I don't know why you came here to find Xiao for a big deal, Beige said respectfully immediately. Of course, this Beige was not the real body, but one of Beige's clones. Give this to Hyuga Umura. Hyuga Chen threw a scroll to Beige, then turned around and left. Beige looked confused. Who was Hyuga Hamura? Lord Chen, can you give me a specific location? It's in the Land of Rain. You can find it yourself. When Beige wanted to ask again, Xiangchen had already gone far and could only hold the scroll in distress. As soon as Xiangchen returned, Terumim ran over immediately, holding Xiangchen's arm with both hands. Her eyes were as gentle as water, like a little wife. My dear is back, are you tired? Do you want to drink some water? Eat first, or eat first me. He then gave Xiangchen a wink. Saucy fox, Sarah scolded angrily. She was not as cheeky as Terumim, but she couldn't do it to the same extent. What would happen if I chose to eat you first? Hai Xiangchen stretched out his finger, raised Terumim's chin, and asked meaningfully. I'll wait for you in the room. Terumim ran to the room shyly. Xiangchen was speechless. He was just teasing Terumim, but he didn't expect her to take it seriously, so he wanted to go. This is a problem. Terumim really has 2 strokes, Kushina said with great interest. You are not allowed to go. Sarah opened her arms and stopped Hai Xiangchen. She would not let Terumim succeed. Chen, why don't you go? There is a beautiful lady waiting for you in the room. Ha ha ha. Mikoto smiled tenderly. In the end, because of Sarah's relationship, Xiangchen was naturally unable to go to Terumim's room, which caused Terumim's resentment. Xiangchen spreads his hands. There is no way. He was stopped by Sarah. Otherwise, Hai Xiangchen will definitely go and discuss the philosophy of life with Terumim. After lunch, Tsunade and the others were asked to supervise the cultivation of the 4 apprentices, and Xiangchen flashed into the system space. Because she has been entangled by Sarah and Terumim, Hai Xiangchen has not entered the system space during this period of time. It is estimated that Xji and Laras should be angry. Seeing Xiangchen, Xji's face showed joy, and then disappeared in a flash, her face expressionless. Lalu brother? Lalu drawing was stunned for a moment, then used her superpower to teleport, and instantly came to Xiangchen's head. Her little hand grabbed Xiangchen's hair and tugged hard. Humphrey, I didn't come to see Lalu Lassie for so long. I'm angry and I want to punish you. Lalu Lassie shouted tenderly. You didn't forget me. Xji looked at Xiangchen resentfully, and that resentful gaze made Xiangchen's scalp numb, as if she had done something resentful to Xji. At such a time, the topic had to be changed, otherwise Xji's eyes would simply be unbearable. Reaching out and hugging Lalu Lassie who was suffocating and pulling his hair, Xiangchen looked at Xji fiercely. It's not because of you, it's because you told them about my whereabouts, so I'm not at all free now, and you still have the face to blame me. Xiangchen slapped him. You are such a scum. It was because of the temptation of beauty that you put me aside and said such things. Don't get angry. Get angry quickly. Sorry, I will never grow old, Xia said with a blank expression. Xiangchen had a headache, and without saying a word, put Lalu Lassie on the ground, then hugged Xia and kissed it. There is nothing that can't be solved by a kiss. If there is, then kiss it several times. Sure enough, after the kiss, Xia blushed and was no longer angry. Big villain. Xia slapped Xiangchen with a blushing face, and she took the opportunity to bully others. She was really so happy. Lalu Lassie bit her fingers and looked at Xiangchen and Xia curiously. She didn't know anything about everything. She was just a blank piece of paper, so she didn't know what Xiangchen and Xia were doing. If you don't understand, ask. Lalu Lassie is a good boy who is studious. Using her mind to float, Lalu Lassie dragged Xiangchen and Xia. Brother, sister, what were you two doing just now? Lalu asked suspiciously. Xia, who was shy before, almost fainted from shyness now, slapped Xiangchen angrily, and kissed her in front of Lalu Lassie, which was too shy. Lalu Lassie, this is an adult thing, and I will know it when I grow up. Xiangchen stretched out his hand to hold Xia's hand, preventing her from struggling, and said to Lalu Lassie softly, grow up? But why can't I grow up? Lalu looked at her small body and said a little discouraged, you will grow up in the future. Xiangchen smiled and comforted. Oh, Lalu nodded. What she didn't know was that as long as she didn't evolve, she would never grow up. Lalu, play by yourself first. My sister and I have something to do. Xiangchen stroked Lalu little head. Although unhappy, the obedient Lalu nodded obediently. Xiangchen smiled, then pulled Xia away. What are you doing? Xia's voice trembled slightly, both nervous and expectant, and her heart was very conflicted. What are you doing? What do you say? Xiangchen gave a wicked smile, and stroked Xia's jade white cheek with his palm. Xia didn't struggle, just looked at Xiangchen silently, her face blushing almost dripping blood. Lang Yuking, concubine intention, everything is a matter of course. Xia changed from a girl to a real woman. A few hours passed, and after everything was over, Xia blushed and looked at Xiangchen, who was smiling wickedly, and couldn't help but give him a roll of eyes. Looking at your eyes, are you not convinced? Xiangchen leaned into Xia's ear and said softly. I don't have it. Xia said quickly. She is not Xiangchen's opponent when she has just started personnel, and if Xiangchen is allowed to continue, she will not be able to bear it. Chapter 268. The gift package given by the system. Lalu dumb brother, why haven't you come out yet? It doesn't matter what you say. Lalu Lassie's cheeks bulged. After waiting for a long time, she didn't see Xiangchen come out to play with her, and Lalu was already angry. They must be playing by themselves, without Lalu Lassie. I'm so off. Lalu Lassie, who was squatting on the ground, stood up and ran angrily to the castle not far away. She wanted to catch her hateful brother, but she actually deceived Lalu Lassie. Coming to the door, Lalu carefully leaned over her head and listened to the voice inside. I can't seem to hear the sound. Lalu scratched her head. Bump. 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 Lalu knocked on the door. Why is Lalu here? Get up quickly. Xia pushed Xiangchen in a panic. Just when Xiangchen was about to do something, Lalu Lassie directly used teleportation to come in. Looking at Xiangchen and Xia lying on the bed, Lalu said dissatisfiedly, it turns out that you were sleeping, but you left Lalu alone outside. Lalu is not happy. That Lalu Lassie, you go out first, and I will definitely play with you in the while. Xiangchen 757 said quickly. I don't believe it. You lied, brother. You are a big liar. Lalu Lassie jumped on the bed, and then got into the bed. I'll sleep with you. Lalu closed her eyes and fell asleep within a few seconds. Xiangchen and Xia looked at each other and exhaled at the same time. When Xiangchen wanted to get up, Lalu Lassie, who was sleeping, suddenly got up, and then reached out and hugged Xiangchen. What are you doing, brother? Do you want to run, brother? Don't you like Lalu Lassie? Lalu Lassie said pitifully. Xiangchen smiled stiffly, then touched Lalu Lassie's head, and said softly, brother likes Lalu Lassie very much. Go to sleep first. I won't go. But I'm not sleepy. Lalu Lassie scratched her head and said, staring at Xiangchen. Xiangchen lifted her bowl cover, looking at her pure and flawless eyes. Xiangchen couldn't blame her. She gave Xia a wink. Xia nodded knowingly, changed her clothes in a single thought, then glanced at Lalu with a bit of resentment, picked her up and left. After Xia left with Lalu in her arms, Xiangchen quickly changed into clothes and followed him out. Sister Xia, why are you limping? Did you fall? Lalu asked while biting her hand. Xia almost fell to the ground, which made her answer so she could only nodded stiffly. Sister Xia was so careless that she would fall down. It's so stupid that even Lalu Lassie can't fall. Lalu Lassie said proudly. That's right. Your sister Xia is too stupid. Xiangchen reached out and hugged Lalu Lassie. Who are you calling stupid? Xia looked at Xiangchen angrily. Ahaha. Xiangchen uttered a ha-ha. Humphrey, I don't care about you as much. Xia snorted softly and snatched Lalu Lassie from Xiangchen's arms. Lalu Lassie, don't be with him. He will teach you badly, Xia said to Lalu Lassie with a serious face. But I like being with my brother. Lalu Lassie looked at Xia stubbornly, and after speaking, Lalu Lassie used teleportation and appeared in Xiangchen's arms again. Xiangchen looked at Xia with a proud face, and patted Lalu Lassie's head as a reward. After playing with Lalu Lassie for a few hours, Lalu Lassie went to rest. This is for you. Xia handed a red gift bag to Xiangchen. Isn't this a gift package rewarded by the system? Where did you come from? Xiangchen looked at Xia suspiciously. Why are you asking so much? Xia blushed and said loudly shyly. Could it be because of us that the system sent it? If you don't want it, I'll throw it away. Xia said angrily. Xia's performance made Xiangchen more convinced of his guesses. He stretched out his hand to take the gift package. Xiangchen shouted loudly, the system will give me a few more system elves. Go to hell. There is only me and the system elf. Xia's small fist pounded Xiangchen's chest angrily. Xiangchen's words just now really made her angry. Just kidding, system elf, I only recognize you. Xiangchen reached out and hugged Xia in his arms, comforting. Humphrey, hurry up and open the gift package. Xia snorted softly and said. Xiangchen looked at the big gift bag, which was engraved with the Chinese character. Very prosperous and full of festive flavor. How can I open this gift bag? Xiangchen turned over and over again, but couldn't find a way to open the gift bag. This requires us to open it together. Xia blushed a bit, then returned to normal. Xiangchen and Xia put their hands on it. A dazzling red light flashed, and the contents inside were completely displayed in front of them. The first thing that catches the eye is a pair of rings. One is a purple gold men's ring, and the other is a red women's ring. Xia brought it over happily, handed the purple gold ring to Xiangchen, and then put on the red ring herself. Xiangchen took the purple gold ring and took it with him. After studying it, a red ring identical to Xia's appeared again in Xiangchen's hand. In addition to being able to make women's rings, is there no other ability? The system is really stingy. Xiangchen complained. It's actually possible to make a ring, which means that this one of mine is not the only one. Xia looked depressed and very unhappy. Then Xiangchen looked at what was left. Tenseizen potion? It can make the white eyes of the Hyuga family evolve into tenseigens, with the blood of the Otsutsuki family. Attachment, only useful for the Hinata family. Xiangchen's eyes lit up, but when he saw that it was only useful to the Hyuga family, Xiangchen frowned. If so, the value would be discounted. Forget it, just keep it for Sister Hinata. Xiangchen thought for a while and said, Beast, Hyuga Hinata hasn't been born yet, so you can beat her idea. If her father, Hyuga Hirota, knew what you were thinking, he would definitely fight with you. Xia despised this shameless guy. Xiangchen didn't care. Anyway, he was thick-skinned, and put the Tenseigen potion into the system backpack and put it away. Reincarnation Eye potion. It can make the Uchiha family's writing wheel evolve into Samsara Eye, with a fairy body attached. P.S. Only Uchiha family members can use. A gift pack contains 3 things, a pair of rings, and 2 bottles of potions. This gift package is really rich. If there is another gift package, it will be even better. Xiangchen said greedily. You guy, are you still thinking about other system elves? Xia's cold voice reached Xiangchen's ears. Xiangchen smiled embarrassingly, and quickly said good things to Xia, saying all kinds of good things. Xia let him go. P.S. I don't understand why the last chapter was locked in a small dark room. It is estimated that it will come out tomorrow. Chapter 269. The nose is very smart. After accompanying Xia for a while, Xiangchen left the system space. Why did you go? As soon as Xiangchen left the system space, he saw Trumim looking at him resentfully, as if Xiangchen had done something wrong to her. What's wrong? Xiangchen asked in confusion. Humphrey. Trumim sat on the sofa angrily. Last night, she finally made up her mind and decided to go to attack Xiangchen at night. Result? Xiangchen went to the system space and didn't come out at all, so Trumim's plan naturally fell through, so she was so resentful to Xiangchen. Sniff. Suddenly, Trumim smelled a woman's fragrance on Xiangchen's body, and her face fell down immediately. Tell me, did you fool around with some woman yesterday? Trumim came over, circled around Xiangchen a few times, and asked in a bad tone. Xiangchen asked in surprise, how did you know? Okay, you really? Trumim looked at Xiangchen angrily. The scent is very familiar, very similar to the scent of Xia. Have you gone to find Xia? Trumim turned into a famous detective. When Xiangchen heard the words, he smelled it on himself, and there was indeed the fragrance of Xia on his body, but the fragrance was not strong, and ordinary people really couldn't smell it. I really don't know how Trumim could smell from such a distance just now. This nose is really amazing. What about the others? Seeing the jealous Trumim about to get angry, Xiangchen quickly changed the subject. HMPH. Outside. Trumim snorted coldly, glared at Xiangchen angrily, and then went back to the room. One did not pay attention, and let Xia take the lead again, and Trumim was about to die of anger. Xiangchen smiled helplessly, then left the house to see the cultivation situation of the little girls. Huh? Why is it just you? What about the others? Xiangchen asked in surprise, looking at the 4 girls, Mikoto, Xionan, Sarah, and Mute were sitting and drinking tea. Kushina said that training like this is useless, and actual combat is the fastest way to improve their strength, so I took them out. And Tsunade's sister also joined in the fun. Mikoto chuckled lightly. Xiangchen was slightly speechless. Dukes and I took them out. This was going to cause trouble. After thinking about it, Xiangchen didn't care. Anyway, with the strength of Kushina and Tsunade, as long as Otsutsuki Ua didn't pop out, it would be fine no matter how much tossing. Even if the Otsutsuki Ua pops out, it's fine. The big deal is that he can go out and move his muscles and bones. Although the Otsutsuki Ua in this world may be stronger than the parallel world, it is definitely not much stronger. Xiangchen can guarantee that using the with a flowing blade like fire, he can destroy Otsutsuki Ua with a single knife, guaranteeing that there will be no fraudulent corpses. Where did you get this ring? Mikoto asked curiously. Xiangchen raised his hand, glanced at the purple gold ring, and said with a smile, "Do you like it? I'll give you one." Xiangchen took out a bright red ring and handed it to Mikoto. Mikoto happily took it. It fit perfectly on her hand. "I want to." Xiaonan looked at Xiangchen pitifully, and even Sarah and Mute next to him looked at Xiangchen with two eyes expectantly. 4 rings appeared in Xiangchen's hands again, and they were handed to Xiaonan, Sarah, and Mute. At the same time, they turned around and handed the last one to Tumim, who came over. "Humphrey, since you sincerely gave it, I will accept it." Tumim happily took it, and it could be seen that she liked this ring very much. In the evening, Tsunade and Kushina pulled Yuko and their 4 daughters back with excitement on their faces. "Huh? Mikoto, Xiaonan, where did your rings come from?" Kushina asked suspiciously. "They didn't have them when they went out." Mikoto pointed her finger at Xiangchen inside. Xiangchen was ready to take out 6 rings, including the 4 little female apprentices, each of whom had one. "It's so beautiful. What material is it made of?" "It looks like it's made of red jade." Tsunade took the ring and observed it carefully. "The ruby?" Ring glowed faintly at night, which was very touching. "Don't study this, hurry up and eat. I'm going to starve to death," Kushina shouted. Mikoto and Xiaonan brought the food, and after the meal, Kushina started to talk about what happened when they went out today. "Today we met Sanjio Hanzo, and Sister Tsunade killed his psychic beast, Sanjio, with one punch." "You killed Hanzo's Sanjio?" Mikoto was slightly stunned. "That's right. If it wasn't for that guy Hanzo running fast, he would definitely be shattered by Big Sister Tsunade's punch," Kushina said brightly, as if she was the one who shot. "How did you meet Sanjio Hanzo? Didn't he stay in Uran village?" "Did you go to Uran village?" Xiangchen, who didn't care at all, was also a little curious. "Now is the period of the Great Ninja World War. Hanzo, the guy who cherished his life, should not just leave the village casually." "I heard them talking. It seems that they are going to destroy an organization called Akatsuki." "No," Haruin said softly. "Hanzo wants to destroy the Xiao organization?" Xiangchen touched his chin, and a little interest appeared on his face. He didn't expect that Hanzo would start looking for trouble with the Xiao organization at this time. Was it because Danzo persuaded Hanzo to trouble the Akatsuki organization, or the plot has changed? Xiangchen thought about it and then put it down. "It doesn't matter how it changes. Thinking about what to do is a waste of brains." "You know the Akatsuki organization?" Tsunade was very curious. "Could it be that this Akatsuki organization is very famous?" "Uchiha Hamadara's chess piece, the kid with Uchiha Hamadara's reincarnation eye, is in this organization," Xiangchen said with a smile. "Then this organization was founded by Madara Uchiha?" Conan asked. Xiangchen gave Xiaonan a deep look. Without him as a transmigrator, Xiaonan would be one of the founders of Xiao organization. Xiaonan looked at Xiangchen inexplicably, and didn't understand why Xiangchen kept looking at her. Could it be that she said something wrong? It was not established by Madara Uchiha, but a kid who delusions of peace. "Remember the 2 apprentices Jiraiya accepted at the end of the Second Ninja World War? That's them." Hong, Lin, Xian, and Hongdu also know each other, the yellow-haired kid and the red-haired kid who clashed with you before. It turned out to be them. Tsunade, Kushina, Mikoto, and Conan all suddenly realized that they had all met Yahiko and Nagato before. The 4 girls of Kurenayui nodded. It turned out to be them. "Okay, don't talk about these things that have nothing to do with us. Go back to sleep." Xiangchen stared at Tsunade, Kushina, Mikoto, and Xiaonan. "What do you see us doing? If you don't come with me, do you want me to stay in the empty room alone?" After speaking, he did not give them a chance to speak, and dragged their 4 daughters into the room. Kokoko. "Damn." Tumim looked at the disappearing backs of the 4 and stood up angrily. Originally, today, she wanted to plan a night attack again, but looking at the current situation, she knew that she would definitely fail. Sarah gave Tumim a thoughtful look, her expression showing a slight vigilance. Whether it was last night or tonight, Tumim was a little abnormal. "It seems that I have to keep Tumim in order to prevent this little fox from sneaking away," Sarah said secretly. Tumim had no idea that Sarah had been eyeing her. Chapter 270 Kills the Sun. Xiang Qingcheng organized by Xiang Xiao. "Come out." Hinata Hamura looked at the big tree not far away. There was no movement at all, except for the sound of the wind blowing leaves, and the sound of insects. There was no strange breath at all. "If you don't come out, you will die," Hyuga Hanamura shouted coldly. Hyuga Qingcheng on the side has raised his hands, ready to start. "Wait, I'll come out." Beige came out immediately, with panic and horror on his face. This was the first time he was discovered so easily except in Xiangqian. Could it be that the people from the Xiang family are not easy to mess with? Beige murmured to himself. "What's the purpose? Say it quickly. Maybe I can spare your life." Hinata Hamamura narrowed his eyes, looking at this person, a ghost or a ghost. He has also been walking in the ninja world for 6 or 7 years, and this is the first time he has seen such a strange thing, and Hyuga Hamamura has already planned to study him. "It was Lord Chen who asked me to come." Seeing the dangerous light flashing in Hinata Hamamura's eyes, Beige hurriedly shouted. "Master Chen asked you to come?" The hand that Xiang Qingcheng stretched out also retracted. Beige breathed a sigh of relief, then immediately took out the scroll given by Xiangqian, handed it to the two guys, and quickly fled. "Would you like to catch up with him and catch that guy?" Hyuga Qingcheng asked. "No, that guy is working for Lord Chen. Let him go." "Let's take a look at the scroll that Lord Chen gave first," Hinata Yumura said. Hyuga Hamura said so, and Hyuga Qingcheng didn't take action either. The two of them were still dominated by Hyuga Hamura. Although the two of them are of the same rank, and they are both sons of Hyuga Tatsu subordinates, but Hyuga Yumura's strength has left behind Hyuga Qingcheng Hakio Street. Without the eternal kaleidoscope shaker, the strength of Hyuga Qingcheng is the peak of the shadow level, and the gap between Hyuga Yumura and the 6th path level is too great. After opening the sealed scroll, there was a letter in it. After reading it, Hyuga Hamura handed the letter to Hyuga Qingcheng. "Master Chen, let us teach Xiao organization a lesson. Didn't you let us find an opportunity to join Xiao organization?" Hyuga Qingcheng was puzzled. "Don't ask too much. Our duty is to complete the task given by the adults," Hinata Hamura said lightly. "Master Chen asked us to teach them a lesson, then we will leave them an unforgettable memory." Hinata Hamura's eyes flashed a cold light. "You don't need to take action on this matter, I can solve them by myself," Hyuga Qingcheng said disdainfully. "Don't be careless. That kid named Nagato has the Eye of Reincarnation." Hinata Yumura gave Hinata Qingcheng a deep look and warned. "It doesn't matter, I don't believe how much power that kid can show, and maybe he can grab his Samsara eye." Hyuga Qingcheng didn't care at all. Although they are not real human beings, but an artificial intelligence, but living in the human world for many years, they also have human emotions, which are no different from real human beings. On the good side of human beings, Hyuga Qingcheng didn't learn much, but arrogance and arrogance all learned. Perhaps arrogance and arrogance have been engraved in his genes. You must know that the original Uchiha Qingcheng is also an arrogant guy. He thinks that opening the eternal kaleidoscope writing wheel can be comparable to Uchiha Madara. "Master Chen is also in the country of rain. I will visit Master Chen first." "You wait here first." After Hinata Hanamura finished speaking, he turned and left. Faced with the commanding tone of Hinata Hamura, there was a look of anger on Hyuga Qingcheng's face. Very unhappy. Don't look at Hyuga Qingcheng, who usually seems to listen to Hyuga Hamura's orders, but it doesn't mean that Hyuga Qingcheng is convinced. On the contrary, he was quite unconvinced. In his opinion, they all serve the adults, and they are all servants. "Could it be that you are strong enough to order me?" Hyuga Qingcheng didn't want to be treated like a dog, being yelled at by this guy Hyuga Hamura. After Hyuga Hamura left, Hyuga Qingcheng directly killed the Akatsuki organization. He wanted to complete the task alone and win Nagato's Samsara Eye. With the reincarnation eye, he cannot be treated like a dog by Hinata Hamura, and even trample Hinata Hamura under his feet. Thinking of the excitement in the eyes of Hyuga Qingcheng here, it doesn't look like an intelligent machine at all. I have to say that the smart chips that Xia gave to Xiangqian are very advanced, allowing them to truly possess all the emotional desires of human beings. If it is not produced by the system, it is impossible to betray the master of Xiangqian. Maybe they will betray Xiangqian. The nest of Xiao's organization is very secret, but it can't be hidden from Hyuga Qingcheng, and soon he will come to Xiao's nest. Several members of the Xiao organization who let loose were killed by Hyuga Qingcheng, and they went in directly and above board. Because Hyuga Qingcheng's movement was very big, Yahiko and Nagato were quickly alarmed. Looking at the corpses on the ground, Yahiko's eyes were red. "Why do you want to kill my companion? I fought with you." Yahiko, who was swept away by the anger, rushed forward. "Useless things, you die for me." Hyuga Qingcheng showed a humane cruel smile. "Not good." Nagato looked at Yahiko who rushed up recklessly, his heart tightened, and he shouted, "Wangxian Tanyan." Nagato's goal was not Hyuga Qingcheng, but Yahiko. Yahiko, who was about to rush up, was pulled back by Nagato. At the same time, Hyuga Qingcheng's fist hit Yahiko's original position, and the air burst. If Nagato hadn't pulled Yahiko back, Yahiko would have been absolutely dead. "Damn, next time you won't be so lucky." Xiang Qingcheng roared. "Yahiko, you are not an opponent, I will deal with him. You take someone away." Nagato pulled Yahiko behind him. At this time, Yahiko also woke up. "Be careful with Nagato, If you can't beat it, run away. Yahiko patted Nagato's shoulder and said. Nagato gave a rare smile and nodded lightly. Yahiko left with the rest of the Akatsuki organization, not because he wanted to leave Nagato, but because he knew that if he stayed here, he would only be dragging the oil bottle. At this time, Yahiko began to hate himself for being weak, and he had to let Nagato bear everything. No one can run away. Since you want to be the first bird, I will use you first. Hyuga Qingcheng sneered, and then rushed towards Nagato. Shenliu Otanzing. Hyuga Qingcheng, who rushed up, was directly knocked back by the repulsion force. Damn it! Looking at Nagato's samsara eyes covered by his hair, a flash of greed flashed in Hyuga Qingcheng's eyes. Such a powerful reincarnation I can exert such a powerful force in the hands of this guy. What if he can get it? Hyuga Qingcheng's attack suddenly became more frantic, and all kinds of ninjutsu came out, making Nagato tired of dealing with it. You must know that Shenliu Otanzing cannot be used all the time, and every use must be at least 5 seconds apart, which is a very fatal weakness. If you like this audiobook, subscribe the channel for more videos like this. And join my Patreon if you want to support me, where you can find advanced audiobooks that hasn't been uploaded on YouTube till now. Leave some comment and let me know if you guys like this story, or you have a web novel you like and want to hear its audiobook. I will be happy to create them for you. Please like, share, and leave a comment on the video.